You're listening to Burnt.
And this is episode number 1.
Hey, I'm Lauren.
Hi, I'm Michelle. And some days we're burnt out.
And some days we're burning it down. This is Burnt, a podcast where you're not going to find us reading off of a script.
These are real, unfiltered, raw conversations between two moms, two women, and all of our friends.
We got a lot of friends. And we are all fired up and ready to make some change.
We're ready to burn it down, and we want you to join us on this journey where we aren't just burning it down, but we're figuring out how to fix it and rebuild it.
Because you got to scorch a little earth, controlled burn, before something beautiful can grow.
Join us every week here for Burnt, wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, are you ready to burn things down?
Oh my goodness, I'm beyond ready. It's a miracle that I haven't already burnt it all down.
I got my flamethrower ready.
I love that. I love that. You know, someone posted in one of the chats this cauldron and how she was burning things. I was like, I need a mini cauldron. Did you not see that?
I did see that, and I
Okay.
too need a mini cauldron. I've been in the market. Oh, we just went immediately to witchy stuff. Like
did.
There was no preamble. We just went. I love it so much. No, I definitely I like burning. I will like write things down. I like burning things. This is an
feel like we need a
arson
disclaimer.
podcast. Welcome to Burnt. No, I will write down things that I need to release, like something that's no longer serving me, something that feels like it's holding me back. So whether that's resentment for something specific or toward a person, or if I'm holding on to trauma that keeps cycling and I'm not processing it, like I will literally write it down and burn it. And I've been burning it in a little terracotta pot. I feel like a cauldron would be a little more appropriate, though.
I love this. I don't burn things except candles. And now that I'm married now, because, you know, this is like 18 years we've been together this month, but I'm a candle person. Like I love candles. And he's like, they stink. Your candles are not, but I'll do it. And then the whole house smells. So that's my extension of burning things.
He doesn't like candles. That's unfortunate.
I do all the smelly ones from Bath and Body. So maybe that's why, like if they didn't have a smell, but I like smell.
I also like smell. I like incense. In fact, I should have.
I remember.
Burned an incense.
I want to say
Should
like high school. That was like a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have like extra witchy incense, but then this one's my favorite right now, from this little shop near me, and this one's called The Finding, and I feel like it's good. It's good.
For those that are not watching and they're just listening, she just lit the incense on fire. Quite
really
literally, this podcast is not talking about burning things. It is burning.
It's actually. So I let it kind of burn for a second. And then my incense holder, if you're interested, I have recently discovered the upside down method because then it contains all of the ash at the bottom.
These are so more advanced than when I was in high school, and it was like a wooden thing that you stuck
Like a
out.
tray.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
We are taking it back. And friends, we don't know where the hell this is going. Let's be honest.
That's the beauty of it. How did we define it? We are burning things down, but before that, we are burned out.
We are burned out. And I
we've
think
been
that,
burned.
Yeah, we've been burned. Oh my gosh, who hasn't? I feel like there's still a lot of burning, people burning others, even though we're in this society and this country and this world where shit's burning down. And yet people still are like, well, let me just see what I can do for myself.
Yes. How can it's almost like there's this double-edged sword where those of us who are stepping forward in a more public way because we have jobs that allow us flexibility. Like I know a lot of people who work in public service and can't. It would risk their livelihoods, their family's security. So they literally cannot be speaking and using their voices, and there are those of us who are, and it's costing us because it is a risky thing to do. So there's this element of we need to be able to pay our bills, but also not exploit those around us and not exploit the moment that we're facing. And so it's this weird sort of thing to recognize. And I don't know, I'm even noticing things about myself that I had worked through from my past career as a wedding planner, and this perfectionism and this need to perform, and now sort of transforming into more of a public figure. I mean, not like I'm a celebrity or anything, but I'm posting so frequently and I'm sharing vulnerable parts about myself, and the criticism has me triggered in that perfectionist space. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I should modify what I'm saying.
I totally get that. And the comments, like, I'm not, when everyone's like, oh, they're just a bot. No, I don't think they all are bots.
No.
Like over the weekend, there was a post we collabed on, and somebody
Mhm.
came after me. All I did was agree with you and what you said. And this person took it and said, oh, you're against this and you're against this. And it went on and on and on. And I go, can you just please go touch grass? And they're all, oh, that's funny. A podcast publicist is telling a farmer to touch grass. I'm like, there's nothing in your profile that says you're a farmer. You have something with chickens. So
Yeah.
please go on your way. Oh, so you don't like that I'm giving you facts and research? I was like, dude, you are unhinged and you need to step on back. Oh, it kept going. And I'm like, this is not a bot. This is a real,
Yep.
not normal individual who
Yeah.
cannot just step away.
They're
Crazy.
in they're in this cycle of it's like cognitive dissonance, and they can't break it. And it but at the same time I feel hopeful that maybe we can reach some people. I
I hope
mean,
so.
I am hoping she's probably going to light up my DMs for mentioning it here on a podcast if she listens to it. But I had a sorority sister publicly comment. We have not spoken in years. She does not engage with my posts. I actually hid her from being able to see my stories years ago when I realized how MAGA she was. And I was like, oh, I don't, because she sent me something. It was during the first Trump presidency, and she sent me something in response to one of my stories, and it was, I was like, nope, you just don't have access to seeing that part of my inner thought process anymore. So she publicly comments after years of silence, and I responded publicly, and she was not happy, but she wasn't able to dispute any of the facts that I listed in my public response. She was only able to take issue with, well, you're publicly responding to me for followers and viewers. And I was like, if I wanted followers and viewers, I would have done this, this, and this. And I did none of those things. In fact, most of what I post is not seeking a follower count. It's just seeking connection with people and stepping into an outlet. But like, I'm still hopeful that maybe I might be able to reach her. Probably not.
Or
But
maybe there's a friend of hers who sees it and she can change it or reach her.
mhm.
And I keep bringing up the I've had it women, but like they reached each other, so change can happen.
That's such a good point. Well, and you have made change in micro ways, but I think that's also macro. Like the people that you're able to reach, you reach them in really profound ways, and I think that's such a great example of how we can all use our voices and connect with people, because it's about the connection and the finding a way to communicate effectively.
And I think that I think you and I both do it without, I don't want to say without thinking about it. I think we naturally just are these individuals who will speak up.
Hmm.
And so it's partially an example for others of like, you can just say this. You can say it in a kind way. you can speak your mind, you can speak your truth, you can speak your beliefs, and that will reach someone else. But it's also important to listen and to be open, both ways. I think this past week taught me that, like, sit there, listen. Am I still skeptical? Yeah, totally skeptical. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Did you change overnight? Probably not.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but, I'm hopeful too that maybe we can see change just by saying, okay, if you're willing to listen to me, I'm willing to listen to you too.
Yes. It's almost like a little bit of a parenting strategy, like modeling the behavior that you want to see in your children. You're showing them how to exist in the world as a parent, and in this moment we are modeling communication, but we're also modeling I don't know, just leaning into goodness. And I think there's such a clear juxtaposition of what's taking place. It's getting harder and harder and harder for people to defend things that are objectively, historically cruel and evil, and the antithesis of the things that a lot of people hold dear. So I
Hmm.
think modeling modeling how to navigate that is really important. We're gentle parenting our way through fascism.
That's an excellent quote. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to make a video of that. We were earlier talking about how do we make our social media content, and I'm like, oh,
There it is.
that needs to be a yes.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll collab on that one,
Yeah, I
please.
like it. Perfect. Perfect. I love it. So what has you feeling burned out today?
Today in particular, still
Or this
early.
this week? Do we say the week?
We can say the week. And I keep mentioning that, and we've talked about this already, but I feel burnt out on trying to not reach more, but to be in like certain rooms
Mm.
and to not be, it's not that I'm not taken seriously, but that numbers suddenly are a thing of,
Mm.
oh, even though you create quality content, even though you've been doing this for years and years and years, you don't have a big enough audience for us to really care about inviting you into this room. And I know that we talk about, we're going to create our own table. We're not going to ask to be at that table. And so I think part of me is like, I'm so fucking burnt out of creating freaking tables. I'm not a woodworker, y'all.
That's
I'm
another
tired
power
of I'm
quote.
tired of making a table. So
Right. Right. Absolutely. And that's
yeah.
the moment we're in.
Yeah.
Ab- for sure. Um yeah, I think it's interesting because that it's like there are these metrics that we are hyper focused on in a lot of ways because the system is hyper focused on the metrics. And it takes us away from the mission. Like we
Hmm.
were talking about earlier, what our strategies are for content. And there is no strategy. It is just what is happening right now.
Go look at
And
our pages. There's no
there's no
strategy.
strategy. I have a font. Like that's all I got.
I
I
have
have
colors. I have brand.
yeah. I have a series of brand colors that I'm using for Instagram, but I change them because I'm like actually that is a little too light. I think I need it to be darker in this so I'm constantly tweaking and changing. But actually saying that out loud, isn't that what we're all doing through life? Like we are constantly tweaking and growing as we navigate new spaces
Hmm.
and as we navigate like yet another unprecedented event, day, week. Like it's constant. So without that growth and that ability to adjust, what do we have?
That's such a good point because going back to this weekend, and anybody who's read my post saw that there was conversation, and we're hoping that things are better. But he said to me, he goes, I don't know how to have these conversations anymore. I don't know how to raise my child in the world that we're living in. And I said, none of us do. Like, this is not normal times. Nobody has been through this. I mean, yeah, probably World War II. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
going through this then. So let's try not to make those mistakes, shall we?
right.
but
Right.
nobody's done this.
Yeah. No. And even still, like World War II was, there was a distance to it. It wasn't our own government.
Right. And you couldn't see it so up close and personal the way we're seeing everything. We live in a new time. Technology is crazy. Everything is instantaneous. If it happens, we know about it in 30 seconds. And that's, I mean, that affects us as people too. Like, what does that do to us that every time we pick up our phone, if there's a red banner, every time Aaron Parnas is, the first thing that I see when I open Instagram, I'm like, okay, what do you have for me, Aaron?
More breaking news. I'm glad that he finally stopped starting his posts with, "We have breaking news." Like, enough. If it's unless it's just news now, like if there is fresh hell, it's just that's to be expected.
Can we give a shout out to his wife? Aaron, I hope you are watching and listening, but we would like to commend your wife because
Uh-huh.
she's really in this. Like, you're there, you're showing up, but she's
Yep.
putting up.
A lot. Well, and I have heard that it can be harder on the partners of
Oh,
and the
yeah.
families of the people who are engaged in the work because they are if everything nothing is normal. Like you can't just like go to dinner. You have to be ready for rapid response.
Yeah.
And and
Yeah. He's in a
they're
dentist chair. He's in a suit and tie.
yeah,
He's on his
on an
couch. He's in the
airplane.
car. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
everywhere. Tell me, does your family, you have kids,
Mhm.
do they know these people on first name basis, or is my family just weird?
It depends on the people. That's such a good question. Okay, so it's slightly different, but last night at dinner, uh, we were all sitting around, and so obviously my name is Lauren, and there is a girl at school whose name is Lauren, and my 10-year-old goes, there are just so many Laurens. We've got Lauren at school, we've got you, and we've got Lauren Underwood.
Okay, and so now here's my story. This morning, last night, I'm doing hair. Oh, it was last night. I was blow drying Kay's hair because we had pictures today. And she's going through my memories on my phone. And there is a photo of D. We'll just use first initials to make it
Okay,
easy.
I like
And
it.
he's less than a year old. And he's underneath the coffee table looking up. And she goes, look, it's D under the desk news.
That's amazing. I really hope V and Lauren Underwood and Aaron
We're
Parnas.
gonna tag them all. We're just gonna let you all know that you are in our first episode. And now V knows that they have a common, like, they are known here. And I tell them that, like, Norma looks out for Rita. Yes, I know your pets' names too. Stalker. But we're paying attention, and you are household names.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important. Like I've been trying to talk to my kids about what what this means for them as they're growing up. And my I'm devastated because I think our kids are pretty close to the same age and mine were born in the Obama administration. It was
Mine too.
such a different time and energy and idea that things were headed in a different direction. And I remember when my 13-year-old H, when he was a baby, Sandy Hook happened. And I was sitting crisscross applesauce on my friend's living room floor, breastfeeding him. And the news came on, and my friend had her baby also in her lap. And I remember thinking, like, dear God, please let us come up with a solution. Let this be the thing that stops this so that by the time my kids are in school, it won't be an issue. Like, let this be the thing. And I think frequently about how that friend went a completely different direction politically and is like more guns, more like less regulation. Like we went in such different And I'm not trying to take anybody's guns away, although I do strongly believe that data shows less firearms equals less violent crime and less school shootings. I mean, look at every other country in the world. But it just, I thought that they were going to grow up in a much different world than they are. And not just the school shootings, but now it's about we're in this moment where democracy itself is at risk. And how do you parent in that moment? How do you prepare them for something that none of us are prepared for?
On top of the fact that they just went through a pandemic. And yet we're living life like it's all hunky-dory.
Yeah.
Everything's normal now.
Yeah.
So what? You wore a mask for 2 years and you had kindergarten online.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. There
Do
should
the
be
drill.
no, yeah.
This is normal. It's no big deal. It's really disturbing when you take a look back and just really pause for a moment to think about what our children have been through, what they're continuing to go through, what's going to happen when they're adults, and that we don't have a mental health system in this country that supports them in the way that they're going to need some major help. Their lives have been traumatic.
Yes. And it reminds me of just a much more extreme scale of something that I experienced when I was in high school through an abusive relationship and sexual assault and rape, that I was a cheerleader and I was in musicals and a dancer. And I learned very quickly that the expectation societally was it doesn't matter how dark things are in your world. The expectation is perform, smile, do the routine. And so that is how I grew up. And this is how all of our children are growing up. And I am now 44 years old, trying to unravel that and trying to be a full version of a human instead of whatever performative version I have created. And all of our children are doing the same thing, and it's devastating.
So I'd like to burn that down.
Yes, burn it down. Sorry, I need a Kleenex. That is a minute. It's a hard thing to come to terms with. The grief that we know on different levels, and being aware that our children are experiencing grief and trauma, and trying to give them the tools that they need to process it so that by the time they get to adulthood, they're not spending their entire adult lives recovering from it. And I don't know that I feel confident that we as a society have the ability to do that.
We don't. We absolutely don't. We're both 44 and we're going through it ourselves. So imagine our kids, they're going through a lot more than we did at their age.
Yeah.
I would safe to assume that we were both riding our bikes into the dark and being called in for dinner at this point. Whereas, there was a post last night that said, what percentage of children are allowed to even play in their front yards alone? And it was like less than half of 8 to 12-year-olds are allowed to be outside by themselves. Less than half have gone down the grocery store aisle without a parent. It was staggering, but yet there's so much danger, or we're more aware of the dangers that could be happening, that they're living in this different world than we did. We had a much more carefree childhood, I feel like.
Well, and the thing that's interesting is that I just looked these stats up. As a nation, violent crime is down by 49% in our country since 1993, which is a fascinating statistic. I am more afraid of, how do I word this? I am more afraid of like the child that was ding dong ditching a house and shot and killed. I am more afraid of my 13-year-old and his best friend fishing and somebody coming and yelling at them for fishing. And because of their age, they're allowed to fish in this specific spot without a fishing permit. And this
Mm-hmm.
older man came out and screamed at them, said he was going to call the police because he wanted to see their permit. And they said, we don't need to have a permit. This is public. This is a public river. We can fish in this river. And they catch and release. It's not like they're. So I'm more afraid.
And they're fishing. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you that two little guys are fishing? They're
Mhm.
not smoking dope or,
Yep.
doing
Fishing.
something else. They're fishing.
Yep.
They don't have their beers out.
Right. I'm more afraid of that than I am of a lot of the hype that places like, I mean, like Chicago is getting. As though here's another statistic. I just did a bunch of research on actual Chicago violent crime and national violent crime statistics. So LA, New York, DC, Chicago, I looked at them specifically because that's where National Guard is headed. That all of those cities are down in their crime percentages. It's all down between 14 and 37%, depending on the city and the statistic you're looking at. But with, where was I going with that? I was going to say that. And then we said, oh, the types of, okay, so, sorry, bear with us here. As we burn it down. So in Chicago, there was a study that looked at where specifically violent crime takes place, and this is consistent in other major cities. It is a collection of streets, and it's very narrow. These very specific streets, but it's not even entire neighborhoods. It's like 3 streets in a neighborhood, and it is 5 to 7% of Chicago streets are responsible for 50% of violent crime. So we're talking about like this very small set of streets. And let's be clear, it's because they are historically stripped of resources. They are underserved, under-resourced. They don't have access to good schools, stable jobs, stable housing, even food insecurity is
I
such a
was going
big
to say
thing.
food. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of that then affects schooling and if homework. And it's all a trickle effect.
It is.
Every single thing, it's a domino. There you have it. This isn't rocket science, which is the funny part. This is not rocket science. A child who does not have a home, who does not have food on their table, and heaven forbid we give them a free lunch at school. Oh
Shock.
no, so that they can actually learn and focus without a grumbling tummy. Not rocket science, everybody.
It's not. It is not. It just, it boggles my mind that this is still a conversation. The data is clear, and there are organizations doing such important work in this space, and it's hard to get them funding. It's hard to get people to donate because everybody is chasing profit and chasing being able to like fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders when the answer is so simple. And what we're seeing is just more aggressive cuts to these same communities. I saw something about, it was somebody on TikTok who posted that she doesn't want to hear people talking about how they don't have enough money to eat in a healthy way, that they can't afford to eat, because she also is poor and she has no problem living off of $50 a week for food. But when you look at it, we're talking about communities that don't have a grocery store that is accessible. If we have a place where public transportation is not nearby, they don't have a car, because if they can't even afford other basic necessities, they're not going to have a car. They're not, if they do have a car, they might not have gas money for it. And the closest grocery store is 20 miles away, or whatever the case may be. That's extreme in a city, but not walkable.
Mhm.
And so the only food that they have access to is more expensive. It's not healthy. It's fast food. It's corner markets, bodegas that only have like chips and other processed food. So I think people are missing, they're missing so much of the context of the issue.
Well, and now we have our foods not even being checked. So even if you want healthy food, um, your shrimp might be a biohazard. Your milk isn't getting filtered. Like there,
Your chicken has salmonella.
it's just so ridiculous. So let's just burn the whole fucking country down. Uh,
Metaphorically,
not actually
not
doing it,
actually.
because if you burn even the flag, there will be felony charges
Right.
against you now. So don't try the whole country, like not even
Yeah,
the flag.
definitely.
We're
No.
not recommending you light a match
We
unless
are
it's a candle or incense or sage
literally that. That's it. Yeah. Or you're the things that are no longer serving you.
in your cauldron.
Yeah.
We're
Or
going
a
to start a
letter
merch
to your
shop. We are going to have a burnt merch shop, and you've heard it here first. Now we have
well,
homework.
we have also just you and I have heard it here first.
My ears just heard it from my mouth first. So
I love it. I'm into it. Sign me up. We can see the ticker of how much time we have been talking. It's
mhm,
only been 30 minutes and we have covered so much ground.
so much. There's been tears, there's been laughter, there's been seriousness.
Yep. It's a lot. I think the thing that I am feeling like I want to burn down, other than the entire everything that we've talked about, I have noticed my nervous system. I finally got my nervous system kind of regulated this weekend after intentionally I've had to set limits for myself on how much I'm online, how much time I spend checking DMs and texts. Like I have notifications. I it's a lot. There is a lot. It is not as much as Taylor Swift with the smoke coming out of her DMs, but it's it's a lot. It's too much for me to manage. And so I give myself time limits and I try to get through as much as I can. And if I don't get through it, I don't get through it. And I try to give myself permission for that. So I'm setting limits. I'm giving myself off the grid nature time. I'm reading books. And I finally got my nervous system down to a little closer to baseline. And then I noticed myself yesterday just in anticipation of that press conference he had at 2 o'clock,
Mhm.
and in anticipation of troops probably coming into Chicago, and in anticipation of the Epstein survivors testifying right now as you and I are recording this. All of those things, it's like the panic starts to come up, and I am just so frustrated with how shot my nervous system is, that like once you get back to baseline, it's right back up to this like elevated hypervigilant level because of everything, like just gestures around. And
I
I
think
know
that's
that
the
I'm not
part that
alone.
I'm jealous of, people who put their heads down. That I'm like, wow, you feel nothing at all, and like that must be really nice.
Ugh,
Um,
right.
there was a mom who recently said to me, I said something about MAGA, and she goes, "What's MAGA?" And I went, "Wait, excuse me, what?" And she goes, "Yeah, what is MAGA?" And so I explained, and she went, "Oh, okay, yeah, I don't really watch the news." And I went, "Well, that must be a really nice little bubble you live in."
I can't even process. I just had to adjust my incense to cleanse that because wow.
Like there's
That's
that's
privilege.
the jealous part. That's the jealous part of me going, we could put our heads down. We could absolutely not worry about it and just live life and hunky
Mhm.
dory. That's my phrase, hunky dory.
Hunky
Um,
dory.
but what good would that do for our children? To me, it always comes back to our kids.
Yeah.
Everything we do is for our kids, their future. And to put our heads down and just live life as is a detriment to their future. And
Yeah.
so our nervous systems are fucked. I've
And
cussed a lot more today than you have,
I
just in
love
case
it.
you haven't noticed.
I can fucking stuff it up. I swear like a sailor. I think it's interesting because I think that in a lot of ways our parents' generation kind of did that. Like they, as baby boomers, I mean, I'm the child of baby boomers. Um, they they were focused on, and this is not a knock on my parents. My parents were great, and still are. But generationally speaking, the focus has been very insular on their own individual progress and their own individual success and not on the world that they are building and creating for generations to follow them. And even just looking statistically at how much wealth is attributed to baby boomers as opposed to any other generation. I can't remember the exact number, but it's something like 60%. Like baby boomers control 60%. Let me fact check that. It's some big percentage of wealth compared to every other generation that is alive right now. And they wonder why millennials and even Gen X, I think more younger Gen X than the older Gen X that are on that baby boomer cusp, Gen Z, and like they wonder why we struggle. They wonder why basic functionality is hard because they are controlling all of the resources. I'm going to fact check this really quick. Let's see. I don't want my number to be wrong. All right. We can keep talking while I'm searching.
Yeah, it was like, what else are we burning or burnt on or
Yeah. Right, exactly. I mean, I'm also burned out by okay, before I search this. I am burned out by the just the simple fact that we are living in a country with a government that is run by rapists, predators of children. And as a survivor, that is a very hard world to exist in. And then to then go to family gatherings and to open up Facebook and see family members posting things in support of those very people that are recklessly causing harm, it feels like a slap in the face. So pass me my blowtorch.
I love this. I love this. Find your facts, and we'll recap for everybody what we plan on doing every week. Because we're gonna share what we want to burn down. We're gonna share how we're burnt out, and we're going to share just everything that's burnt. I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, what whether we want to burn it down or what. You got something?
It's worse than I thought. 73% of all US wealth is owned by Americans over the age of 55.
Wow.
If you focus specifically on boomers, it's 51.8 or 53. It was 53% in 2021. But 55 and over, 73% of all US wealth.
That's insane.
It's insane. Yeah. Burn it down. All of it.
But share the money with us while you're at it.
I mean, burn the money. Money's one of my closest friends, she says money's a tool. It is a tool. And so we are existing in a world where like we are not given all of the tools that we need to survive. Ugh. We have a lot to burn down here, friend.
We do. And we're going to show up every week, share it all with you guys.
Yeah, we do. And another like closing, we stand with the Epstein survivors who are testifying right now.
Yes.
And with all survivors everywhere. This is a hard day, whether or not you are watching the testimony or avoiding it for your own mental health and recording a podcast instead.
Yes. Although it's going to be a part of it. Like this is just an hour of our day. So
Yeah.
refreshing one.
Yes. Very refreshing.
For me, at least.
Same. I love that. I still also love that we both showed up to record our first episode in white tank tops. We're just ready to get to work.
Wasn't even planned. Was not planned. So you can see where our heads are.
I love it. I love talking to you. I can't wait to bring even more friends into our burnt world where we're gonna change things. First you have to scorch a little earth. You have to do a controlled burn
in order for
fresh growth.
Yes. I love it.
That's what we're doing.
Until next week.